Hi guys! Today I'm going to show you how I turned this ordinary dollhouse roof into one with a huge dormer. This addition gives the attic so much more light and space. I promise you, it's easier than you think and makes such a huge difference. As I was putting the roof on the dollhouse that I showed you how to build in my last video, I decided I wanted a dormer. It was a last-minute decision once I saw how closed off and claustrophobic the attic felt. The first thing I did was draw out how big I wanted the window to be. Mine is 5 inches high by 11 inches wide. I'll be cutting this out with a tiny saw blade, so I'm drilling a hole in the corner to start. This will give me a place to insert the blade and start the cut. This is the blade I'm using, and I'll link it in the description below. It's small but very sharp and very effective. Next up are the top and sides of the dormer. In order to make sure the pieces of wood I cut are perfectly sized, I'm going to create a template using this foam board from Arteza. Using a template will make it way easier to get the right dimensions, and I won't have to recut wood if I make a mistake. Foam is super easy to cut and allows me to play with the dimensions. For the roof of the dormer, I cut a 4-inch by 12-inch rectangle. And tape it above the opening that we cut. For the sides, I take a small rectangle of foam board and line it up against one side of the window. Make sure the vertical side is perpendicular to the ground. Then trace the angle of the roof onto the foam. We'll be cutting out a triangle with a horizontal line across the top and a vertical one straight down the front. Foam board is super easy to cut with a simple utility knife. I placed these side panels underneath the rectangle roof template we taped on just to make sure that all the dimensions look good. This is the perfect time to make adjustments to your template if the size or shape doesn't look the way you want. Now that we have our templates, it's time to cut those pieces out of wood. For the sides, I'm going to use the piece that we cut out for the roof opening. The thickness is perfect and will match seamlessly with the rest of the roof. I trace the templates onto this MDF slat and cut it out. You can do this with a laser, a table saw, or a hand saw like I'm doing here. Sometimes I just love doing manual cuts because it can be so therapeutic. Once you have those pieces cut, glue them onto the roof with wood glue. For the dormer roof, I cut a 4-inch by 12-inch rectangle from scrap 1/4 inch thick wood and paint one side white. Glue that to the top with the painted side facing down. And now I paint the outside of these newly added pieces black to match the rest of the dollhouse roof. When that's dry, glue on a 1/8 of an inch thick square dowel to the seam where the dormer meets the roof for a clean look. I also add one to the bottom of the dormer window. Then, I just finished adding on the roof details that I showed you in my last video, including dowels and paint. Underneath the dormer window, I add a piece of painter's tape across the front edge and paint that area black. This divides the roof exterior and the attic interior. Peeling the tape off is so satisfying. Now for the actual window. I'll be using these 1/4 inch thick square dowels for the outer frame. We need 2 11¼ inch lengths and 2 3¼ inch lengths. Place the pieces in this rectangle position and glue them together. Then take two 3 1/4 inch lengths from a 1/8 of an inch thin square dowel. Position them inside the frame. Make sure to position them so that it divides the window into 3 equal parts. The reason we're using thinner dowels in the middle is to allow space for the window glass. Once the glue has dried, I paint this whole frame black. All the windows on this house will be black because I'm going for a modern farmhouse vibe. For the window glass, I'll be using thin acrylic panels. I measured the size I need for the inside of the frame and score the acrylic on both sides with a utility knife. Once both sides are scored, acrylic snaps really easily and cleanly. Now just peel off the paper backing on both sides. This was honestly the hardest part of the whole project. Then place the panel into the frame. It should sit seamlessly inside the frame because the two middle dowels are so much thinner. To hold this panel in place, I'll be adding additional support on the back side. For that, I'm using these thin coffee stirrers. They are 1/8 of an inch wide, so they will line up perfectly with the middle dowels. Cut them down to size and paint them black. Then glue it to the back side of the frame with Eileen's tacky glue. We're finally ready to install the window. Simply glue it to the front of the dormer, making sure to line up all the sides. To seal up any gaps in the joint, I add more of the 1/8 of an inch square dowels. You can also use coffee stirrers to do the same job. Now, I just paint these new additions black to blend in with the rest of the roof. And that's it. The dormer is complete and I think it adds so much depth and character to the roof. It also gives the attic so much more light and airiness, which is perfect because I'm planning for the attic to be a playroom / office / studio. I can't wait to show you guys how I'm building out the inside of this massive house. I'll see you next time. Bye.